I'm on a mission to cut down the expenses of bringing inputs into my garden. I want to show you how I bring in natural amendments with things that are produced right here. Let's just think about what can you produce on your own homestead that is going to fertilize your garden. Okay. So I'm out here in the garden today and I want you guys to come along with me. I'm going to do a few things. I'm changing the layout of the garden. I'm going to install some tomato trellises for the upcoming spring garden, and I'm going to be amending the soil in those areas where I'm going to plant the tomatoes using only things that come from my homestead. And this is part of what I want to do, is find a different position because I'm kind of halfway squatting and my legs are shaking. Okay, is my arm long enough? I want to stop spending so much daggone money bringing in compost, bringing in fertilizer, doing all that other stuff. And I want to use inputs from right here, what I have right here. So I'm going to set you guys down. First I need to move some stones because I had laid out a garden bed, and now this is where I want to put up trellises, so I'm going to move some stones. We'll put up some trellises and then we'll amend soil. So I'm out of breath because I did that really fast, but I'll have that on time lapse for you guys. But I still did it really fast. I want to get this project done. I'm sitting here on my lovely cherry tomatoes. These survived the soil. Remember when I had the bad potting soil and it killed all my tomato seedlings, all my seedlings for the plant sale. It killed all my eggplant, all my tomatoes. But these two survived. So good. So I'm here in South Florida. A lot of you know that because you come around and see me a lot, and I'm very appreciative. But if you don't, sorry, just eating on camera, you know. If you don't know, I'm here in South Florida, Zone 10A. This is January 21st. And I love to grow tomatoes through the fall, winter, and spring. And I did have some. We had the great big beefsteak tomatoes that I had grown off of suckers, and harvested probably close to 50 pounds of tomatoes. I'm actually making some pasta sauce right now inside with some of those. And get it together, Sherilyn. Get it together. Stay on point. Okay. But in the spring, I am going to plant tomatoes. I don't like to plant tomatoes in the spring here because it gets hot so fast. And when it gets really hot, then tomato blossoms become sterile and such as that. It's not impossible. I have found tomatoes from Bonnie Plants. It was called Somerset. And they did set tomatoes in the summer. I tried one plant one year. They set some tomatoes in the summer, but I can't find that plant anywhere. I cannot find it. And it's one of their plants, so they don't sell seeds for it. It's a hybrid, and I just can't find it. So we're gonna have to do what we can do. And I'm making a long story longer, so I'm sorry. There's two different types of tomatoes, whether they are hybrids or heirlooms, and they are determinate or indeterminate. Indeterminate tomatoes are the ones that climb really tall, 9-10 foot tall, and they'll put on tomato blossoms here, tomato blossoms there, and you can harvest tomatoes off of them all through the season. Indeterminate tomatoes don't grow very tall. They stay more like a bush. There's less pruning, less work, and you get this huge flush of tomatoes, you know, in a very short time window. And so I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do for spring, to avoid any of the, you know, so sad to put plants in and then it gets too hot here in Florida, and it's just so sad to watch them struggle. So I'm going to do determinate Roma tomatoes. This year they're already planted out in the nursery, and that's what we're going to be amending the soil for today. And I've got a few suckers of these started out now. Cherry tomatoes will do a whole lot better for you in the heat. You know, they'll last a little longer. So I'm going to plant out some more cherry tomatoes too. So enough rambling. I think I've caught my breath from moving all those rocks. I'm going to get up off of this ground and put in a trellis, and then we're going to start amending soil. I don't raise rabbits for meat yet, but that's something I can do in my backyard in town. I have some rabbits I got free off of Marketplace, a pair, and I got a pair from family members whose kids just lost interest. They came with cages, bottles, and everything. So if you want to get a nice source of awesome manure for your garden, look into getting some rabbits. I just threw up some cinder blocks, some 2x4s, and set the rabbit cages there under an awning. And they do wonderfully. They do really good. The manure drops down on the ground. I collect it, put it in the garden. The rabbits eat leftovers from the garden. I can actually grow extra things to feed them. Green bean leaves, sweet potato leaves. A lot of the weeds and stuff that come up in the garden, they'll eat. And you can just recycle. It's like this big circle. And I only spend about 20 bucks every 6 to 8 weeks to feed these guys. They just eat a small scoop a day, and then they eat stuff out of the garden. So for me, it's better to have that natural fertilizer that's a cold fertilizer that can go straight into the garden. It's not going to burn, you know, it's a cold manure. It's not going to burn your plants, and you can just add it directly to the garden. I feel like I'm rambling again. And then also, if you ever decided to raise your own meat, if you have breeds that are good for meat rabbits, you could just breed your rabbits and raise them for meat. The babies would even be a lawnmower. You can put them in a little rabbit tractor and move them around your yard, and they'll mow your grass. Now let's put some bunny poo on here. This is my strained fetid swamp water. It's had banana peels, weeds, some grass clippings, some eggshells, and stuff like that in there. And that is not an oil slick residue thing. It's the reflection of the ring on the can. But anyhow, this is a concentrate. I'm going to take like 1 cup of this and put it in my watering can and water in that rabbit manure. I've taken about 1 cup of that concentrate and filled the rest of the can up with water. What this has is minerals, micronutrients. This is going to start feeding the soil life. It's going to start boosting this dead sandy soil over here. This area of the garden is more like my native soil. I did bring in some compost like year before last, and I had a couple rows back here. But other than that, it's just been covered with cardboard and mulch. So it's pretty much as close to native as I could get it. I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to show you 2 more things right here on the homestead that we're going to inoculate this with. We're going to fertilize this really good and get it ready for spring planting. Okay, we had some cold weather a few weeks ago, so we had like a fire outside almost every night, and used that to do some yard cleanup from a lot of the tree branches and stuff around here. And we've got biochar. This is like tiny bits of charcoal. Biochar will soak up nutrients in the soil. It also has its own minerals and everything it puts in the soil, but it will also soak up nutrients. So as this rabbit poop breaks down, this biochar is going to soak up the nutrients and lock it in for, from everything I've seen, lock it in for years. And this is not going to break down like other things. So if you're buying bagged fertilizers and bringing in amendments and stuff, those things can feed your soil life for a bit, but they start to break down. This stuff is supposed to last for ages. So I'm going to rake this in, work it into the soil. I'm going to use my stirrup hoe to work this in. I've been collecting grass clippings. Can you see me? I've been collecting grass clippings and leaves that get caught up in the lawnmower. So there we go. That's our topping. So there it is. This whole side of the trellis. The soil has been amended. And I don't know if you can see because the sun has come up and it is casting shadows everywhere. But we just covered it with the leaves and grass clipping. Underneath is our rabbit manure, biochar, and it's been watered in with some of our fetid swamp water. I am no expert on fetid swamp water, but an amazing gardener that you guys just have to check out is David the Good. That's his YouTube channel. He's written books on gardening in Florida. He now lives in very southern Alabama, just across the Florida line. He does amazing things with food forest and grocery row gardening and all sorts of things. Natural amendments, biochar, very permaculture minded. And he's just awesome. So you can check him out for videos on how to make biochar. And if you don't just want to grab it out of your fire pit. And then videos on fetid swamp water. That stuff's amazing. I think that's it for me. I still got work out here, but I think I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. And I hope you come back and see me soon. Bye, y'all. Get it together, Sherilyn. Get it together. Stay on point. Oh, this tomato is in my hair. Sorry. Cut that out. Go back to I'm going to plant the indeterminate tomatoes. So hold on to the end. Don't leave me. And cut that out. So stick around to the end of the video if you want to see all the soil amendments and see. I'll cut that out too. All right, bye.